All right, next up we got Navy upsetting number 24 USF 41-38. Let's go over the highest graded player, starting off with the USF Bulls. Highest graded player for USF was defensive tackle Trayvon Mitchell, 85. Actually, go to Navy first. Coleman Cauley, the linebacker, 80.4. Phillip Hamilton, the safety, 79.6. Mark Anthony Parker, the linebacker, 73.1. Jackson Campbell, the corner, 72.6. Cam Robinson, the linebacker, 71.7. And Blake Horvath with a 59.4 grade for the midshipmen. For USF, Trayvon Mitchell, 85. Mac Harris, the linebacker, 75.4. Jalen Schuler, 74.6 at linebacker. DJ Harris, the edge rusher, 74.3. Jeremiah Koger, the wide receiver, 72.2. And Byron Brown, the quarterback, 77.6. Dalton, what told the story in this game?
So there's two elements, there's two things that happened in this game. Number one, USF's defense just was not up to the task. You're going to get into that side of it. Number two, I'm going to throw you a stat. Navy, 87.4 run defense grade. Now, on the surface, that might sound a little funny because USF did run for 205 yards in this game, but I'm going to tell you why we have an 87.4 run defense grade for Navy and why that's so important. USF's run game, for as explosive as they are, is really the engine of their offense with all the backs that they have, with obviously Byron Brown as the option threat and the scrambling threat that he is. But Navy only allowed 3 explosive runs in this game. Outside of Byron Brown's 60-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, they only allowed 4.2 yards per carry, which is really darn good against this USF rushing attack that can be so explosive at times. And when you look at USF's team and the lack of balance that they had to ask Byron Brown to basically single-handedly win this game. Players not named Byron Brown, Max, had 19 carries for 64 yards. Not good enough, and only 1 missed tackle forced. Navy's run defense in the traditional sense when, outside of Byron Brown making a couple of plays, was really, really good. And I thought the fact that, as we say with Navy, or a team that's so run-heavy a lot, they get ahead early, you have a problem. They stopped the run. They got their running game established early. They got out ahead. USF was playing catch-up the whole game, and because Navy's run defense was so good, they put the game in Byram's hands. Was Brown really good in the fourth quarter? Yes, but the first 3 quarters of this game, I actually thought USF's offense was really out of sorts because they couldn't run the football consistently.
My stat is pretty crazy. Navy averaged 4.9 rushing yards before contact in this game. If you're allowing about 5 yards before contact, before you even touch the ball carrier, you're never going to win a ball game, especially against a team like Navy. Navy just completely confused USF's defense in this one with their complex run schemes. And I mentioned before how they run basically every run scheme in the book in their offense, and they really confused USF's defense in this one. They had USF's head spinning in this game. Navy had 347 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns with 256 rushing yards before contact. And this one, Alex Texa and Braxton Woodson, the backup quarterback even, had over 100 yards on the ground in this game. USF's run defense, they only missed 8 tackles on 52 carries. So pretty good job tackling ball carriers in this one when they did contact them. But the problem was, and Navy had like a 50 a run blocking grade too in this game. The problem was USF had no idea who had the ball in this one, and ultimately that's why Navy was able to run wild on this USF defense.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think you just look at all the misdirection and all of the ways that in this offense that you can flank an opposing defense. So you look at the toss sweeps working, the option game obviously working, just all the misdirection and everything they had going for Navy here. I think it's just Todd Orlando just didn't quite have his defense ready enough to play against this team, and Navy could get to basically anything they wanted to. And honestly, even in the pass game, I want to shout out as my most impressive. Give me both quarterbacks that played for Navy in this game as well. Blake Horvath, 73.8 passing grade, 8 of 15, 147 yards, the big-time throw to Eli Heidenreich that set up a touchdown, and credit to the backup, Braxton Woodson, who came in late in this game. Horvath left the game twice, cramping up, maybe calf or hamstring, something like that. Braxton Woodson really made some key plays late in this game, too. How about 9 carries for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns for Woodson, and a big throw to Eli Heidenreich on a corner route that set up the touchdown there that Woodson scored on the next play, and then the big 64-yard touchdown that ended up just putting the game out of reach. I just want to credit both quarterbacks for, look, this is not always the easiest offense to run for a quarterback. You're getting hit a lot, you're running a lot, you don't get to throw too much, but when you do, you take advantage of those opportunities, you make explosive plays. Both quarterbacks played a huge part in this game. Woodsid's got some past experience before, even in a starting role. He started last week against Notre Dame with Horvath out, but both guys came through in the clutch big time in this game.
Yeah, big win for Navy. I want to shout out Coleman Cawley, the linebacker in this one, a 90.9 run defense grade, 5 run defense stops for Coleman Cawley, and 2 tackles for loss and only 23 run defense snaps. He also had a pressure and a pass rush win on 7 snaps and a coverage stop in this one too. So a career day for the junior linebacker for Navy, Coleman Cawley, in this upset win for the midshipmen.
So, I want to just shout out here the implications of the American title race and the playoff race here for a bit, because the American, from what I understand, the tiebreakers, unless there's like all round robin head-to-head and things like that, the tiebreakers, if there was a 3 or even a 4-way tie, because East Carolina got a big win over Memphis yesterday too, that basically now you have 4 teams with 1 loss in this conference, okay? If you get more than a 2-way tie and there's no just clean head-to-head thing, which there's not going to be if there's more than 2 teams here, my understanding is that it comes down to CFP rankings. And the back end of this CFP ranking is going to be just as interesting as the top 12, because look at this, Max. You've got number 20 Louisville lost, they could drop out. 21 Iowa lost, they're probably dropping out. 22 Pitt lost big time, they're going to drop. USF lost, they're dropping. Cincinnati lost, you got 5 of the last 6 spots that could be open. Does that go to any combination to me of North Texas with 1 loss, Tulane with 2 losses, James Madison from the Sun Belt, Navy getting this win? What is the order then? Somebody out of that group is going to get ranked. How many and how high? Going all the way up to possibly number 20. Could that be? My guess right now would be in the American, if the CFP is going to be what decides it, that you're still, if everybody wins out, which is entirely possible, none of these teams are playing each other, that you would still get some combination of Tulane and North Texas, especially since North Texas beat Navy. But we have got a wild last 2 weeks in this conference to deal with, and any of these scenarios could play out, especially if you get one team that gets upset. Also, Navy has the toughest game, I would say, of the bunch, having still to go to Memphis on Thanksgiving night, too.
I think if so my top 25, just for anyone who doesn't know, which will come out on PFF.com tomorrow, I have James Madison as the highest-ranked team in the group of 5 right now, and then I have Tulane at 25 after that. I don't have anyone else ranked right now after that. I would say North Texas would be above Navy for me right now, but if Navy beats Memphis later on, I might rank Navy above North Texas at that point.
The problem is with the head-to-head, can you?
No, sorry, no. You're right. They beat Navy.
That's going to be Navy's
right,
biggest. Navy's biggest obstacle right now is they really need North Texas to lose. I think the head-to-head is going to be a huge problem. Assuming this comes, if it does come down to see, I mean, they need somebody else to lose, Tulane or North Texas, because East Carolina is not going to get ranked. They have 3 losses, so even with that, East Carolina would need a miracle to me to get to the title game. But I think that's going to be the Navy's biggest holdup here, is the lost head-to-head to North Texas.
Good call there. The one thing I'll say though, right now, I think James Madison is currently the favorite to represent the Group of 5. Now, maybe if North Texas beats Tulane or Tulane beats North Texas, maybe I'll change my mind on that, and maybe they'll jump James Madison for that. But it depends on how the end of the year goes. But right now, I put James Madison in the playoffs. So it might not ultimately matter at the very end who wins the American, but it is a very interesting race right now, considering how wide open that conference still is and the implications that the playoff rankings have on that conference as well. So Navy getting a big win over USF, 41-38.